What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. So earlier in the week, as most of you guys know, we did a trading Ja Morant Memphis Grizzlies rebuild, and in that rebuild we ended up trading him to the Toronto Raptors. Now this video does not mean we're doing a Ja Morant Raptors rebuild. More than anything, it has got me thinking, what is next for the Toronto Raptors? So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to jump in and talk about what could be next for the Toronto Raptors. This is also our first Raptors rebuild since the Ingram trade became official. The last one we did, we obviously kind of like talked about the idea that Ingram would be traded there, and I almost got the trade exactly correct, but not quite, which is why I never ended up doing an Ingram Raptors rebuild in the first place. But I guess here we are now, so let's go ahead and jump in and talk about what's next for the Toronto Raptors. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. YouTube tells me about 57% of the people that watch these videos aren't actually subscribed. So if you do follow that 57% and want to change that, that'd be greatly appreciated as we're on the road to 50,000 subs. So this is what I mean when I talk about the Raptors, because obviously the Raptors moved on from Siakam and OG Anunoby. They had a core. They won a championship when Kawhi Leonard was here. He obviously decided to leave and go to LA. So they haven't been like a contender since, which makes sense. You know, it worked out. They traded DeMar DeRozan to get Kawhi Leonard, and then they trade then they trade Siakam and OG Anunoby away. And you would think once that happens, it'd be kind of like a full reset, but that hasn't really been what it's supposed to, or that hasn't been what it is, honestly, for the Raptors. They have instead kind of like bought on like these guys that are like 25 to 27. They have Jakob Poeltl still as well. So yeah, it's an interesting team. I don't really know what this team will be in the future, and I'm not sure anybody really knows. They obviously traded for Brandon Ingram, who's 27 years old. They extended him. So again, this isn't like a full reset that the Raptors have hit. They're still trying to become something. So that's where we're going to go ahead and find out. So let's simulate the rest of year one, where obviously we'll end up with a lottery pick, hopefully. That should help out a ton to kind of determine what we're doing next. But without knowing where our pick ends up, we really won't know what's going to happen with this team. So let's see how it's going to go. And hopefully this team, gets a good pick. And then we could really start to, talk about what we can do going forward. At the end of season one, Jokic is your MVP, Sar is your rookie of the year, Naz Reid's your sixth man, Giannis defensive player, and Amin Thompson most improved, and Trae Young's your clutch player, and Kenny Atkinson coach of the year. So here's your NBA first team with Jokic, Shea, Giannis, LeBron, Trae Young. I'm sure we're not going to have any Raptors here, obviously, so we don't really need to look too deep into that. We don't have any rookies on here either, but we're not a playoff team or a play-in team, which is good because, again, I wanted a good pick this offseason because that's going to determine what we could do going forward. So that is where we'll find out how this video is going to start for us. So let's see how these playoffs go. So we got the LA Clippers, Thunder, Minnesota, and the Timberwolves, Celtics, and the Timberwolves go on and win a championship with Anthony Edwards as the finals MVP. All right, let's get into the offseason now. So LeBron James is going to retire, but of course, as usual, I think he's going to play one more season. So for the lottery, this is where it's all going to start. Do we get lucky and get a top 3 or top 4 pick? That's what we need to find out. So we have the 5th best odds. So instead of watching until we see number 5, I'm going to simply skip to the results, and we're going to pray for some good luck. 5th best odds. Does that lead to us being lucky? And we got 4. Okay, so we jumped into 4. Can't be too discouraged by that. So Hornets 1, Pelicans 2, Wizards 3. So not bad at all. We'll absolutely take that. So we'll just kind of have to see what we can get at pick 4. Darko, still head coach, which I'm fine with that. I think Scotty Barnes was the 4th overall pick as well, if I'm not mistaken, in his draft class. Let me double check that. Yes, I remember, because I thought they were going to take Jalen Suggs that whole time, and then they took Scotty Barnes, which a lot of people were somewhat surprised by, but he's been pretty good. So now you kind of have a Barnes-Ingram duo going forward, and everyone else you just kind of have to figure out. I think Grady Dick will develop enough to where I like him as a starter going forward as well, and a nice, shooter as well, and big at 6'6". So yeah, a lot to like here, but let's go to draft night and see what we get at pick 4. So number 1 is going to be Cooper Flagg to Charlotte. Number 2 is going to be Dylan Harper to New Orleans, and I assume that means Ace Bailey to Washington, and it does. So at pick 4, we have the option of VJ Edgecombe. We have the option of Trey Johnson, Jeremiah Fears. So a lot of different ways we could go about this. Noah, you got Liam McNeely, Boogie Flan, Noah Traore. So a lot of different ways. We could take our point guard of the future with Boogie Flan here. I don't mind that because, yes, VJ Edgecombe makes a lot of sense, and he's probably the best player we could take right now. But I kind of like the idea of Grady Dick becoming the starting shooting guard of this team, and I know Edgecombe would definitely beat him out for that. Man, this is tough. Do I want to rock with... Because I know I could put Boogie Flan at point guard and be fine with moving on from Manu quickly, but I really wanted to give Grady Dick a lot of opportunity. So I know this may be unpopular, but the Raptors don't usually go with the consensus anyway. I'm going to take Boogie Fland here. I know DJ Edgecombe is the obvious pick, but I'm going to change it up, and I'm going to take Boogie Fland at pick 4. So we have our point guard of the future in Boogie Fland now, which I feel really good about. He will back up Minute quickly for at least, maybe one season or two. But Edgecombe, of course, was the right pick. Boogie Fland ended up being a 75 overall, but I'm still very happy with it. Could have taken Igor as well, but still, I like it still. Player options, Oshai Baji, Grady Dick, we will accept those. And then qualifying offers, Chom, Chiolana Robinson, AJ Lawson, all free agents. For free agency, don't know if we have any free agents to worry about. So we have Boucher, Roden, AJ Lawson, Orlando Robinson. Okay, so let's take a look at our rotation now. So Jamal Shed, of course, is also here, so we'll have to figure out what we do with him. But eventually, it'll be like probably Boogie Fland and Jamal Shed as your point guard rotation. Quickly, we'll probably be here for another season or two. Jacoby Walter at the 2 is fine. RJ Barrett, Brent Ingram now kind of have a 3 spot, figured out. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with that. And then Barnes is at the 4 and Mogbo at the 4. And I know another thing people brought up the idea of is maybe playing Barnes at point guard, which is something I maybe could have thought about, but I didn't before I made that pick. But that would be pretty intriguing if you had like a Barnes point guard thing. And then, yeah, that would be pretty wild. But we took Boogie Fland, and that's the decision. We're going to lie in it, so we're not going to change anything from that. So the only thing I feel like we truly need is a backup center, and I'm ready to just go into next season with this rotation and see how it works out, and then we can figure out what we want to do from there. So I'm going to go ahead and sign... Who do we want here? Do we want Thomas Bryant, or do we want like Kevon Looney as our backup 5? Or Drummond? Give me Kevon Looney for a year, I guess, and that will be our backup 5 for this season. He probably won't even get in the rotation, but we're going to go ahead and make that happen. So we'll go to player progression, and let's see what this is looking like after all that. So I definitely want to see who all develop. So Quickly is down to a 79, which just like I did in the Grizzlies video, I just don't get that. Like, he's 26 years old. Why is he regressing down 2 overall? It doesn't make any sense. So Quickly is going back to point guard, and then Jamal Shed is the backup now. So Boogie Fland might struggle getting some minutes in the first season, which definitely kind of sucks. I wanted to play him right away. Mobo and Barnes, and then Kevon Looney. So going to be kind of a weird, unorthodox rotation. I do feel like RJ Barrett will eventually have to be traded out of here if we're going to make this rotation make sense. Because like I said, or we could, in theory, play Ingram and RJ at the forward spots together, and then maybe we go with Barnes at point guard. I don't know. A lot of different things we could consider. So we'll definitely keep everything open for sure. But we're going to explore that as we go further along. So let's go look at the rotation, though, for year number 1. Power rank ends up being 18th overall for us, so that could be intriguing and exciting to see if this team ends up being pretty good. So you got Manu Quickly, Grady Dick, Jakob Poeltl, Scotty Barnes, and Brandon Ingram as your rotation. So very interesting, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Do we trade, or do we start RJ Barrett for now and then we trade him at the deadline or something like that? Because as much as I think Barnes at the point guard would be fun, I think we kind of already made our decision with Boogie Fland getting that opportunity here. So we're going to have to lie in that decision because we're not going to change it now. We already drafted him. So I kind of want to get him minutes this year if possible, but maybe it has to wait till after the deadline if we clear things up. It also depends on how good we are as well. But I do think RJ Barrett needs to start for this season. And then at the deadline, we might free up some things. Like, I also depends on how good our record is as well. We got to keep that in mind. So depending on our record, that might determine a lot of what we do. But Ingram and RJ Barrett are going to shoot quite a bit, it looks like, and Barnes will be there as well. I know eventually I want to make Barnes like just an absolute stud. I mean, we could do it right now, I guess. Let's just make him good right now, and then hopefully this team ends up being solid. But I also wouldn't be opposed if this team was bad either. I really don't care what this looks like for this season. There's a lot to figure out, and what our record is will determine a lot for me, in my opinion, actually. Actually, so far, we're off to just an amazing start. So maybe this team is... Well, we're starting to flame out now. So I will see you guys at the deadline because we might make some tough trades, but we'll see. Just all kind of depends on, like I said, what we look like and what our record is. We started out flaming hot, and now I've cooled down. So we'll see how we are at the deadline, though. So this is going to be a very interesting decision in the moment, but it is a decision I'm going to make. I'm going to trade Amanda Quickly away. We're going to be very high on Boogie Fland and Jamal Shed as our point guard rotation in the future. We're getting a first-round pick for him, top 3 protected. Feel bad about doing this, but based off decision we made in the draft, I think we have to. So Quickly we'll go to Detroit for Tobias Harris's expiring contract. We'll also free up a lot of money for the future and get a top 3 protected 2027 first round pick. So I hate to do this to you, Amanda Quickly. We're 3 games over 500 right now, but I know what I want to do in the future. So Amanda Quickly is going to be the first casualty out of here, unfortunately. So that should, in theory, get Boogie Flan. Or, yeah, we're going to try to get Boogie Flan in the rotation now. So I'm actually going to kick out, for now, Abaji, which I feel bad about. But I want Boogie Flan to play a little bit this year because I need him to develop into the guy I'm trying to make him become. So this is what it's going to look like for the rest of the year. We're 3 games over 500, other than we're going to put RJ Barrett on the starting lineup again. So Shed is going to be starting point guard for the rest of the season. He's been pretty good in a bench role, which is awesome. So he's going to get an opportunity to start for the rest of the season. We get a first-round pick, free up some money for the future, and that is the decision we made. So we'll see how it works out, and hopefully it pays off in the long run. But I do know what we have in Boogie Flan. We're trying to make him work, and we have to free up the minutes for that to happen. So Toronto native and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wins the MVP. Cooper Flagg, Rookie of the Year. Josh Giddey is your 6-man win defensive player. Connect, your most improved, and Kyrie Irving is your clutch player. Mark is your coach of the year, and John Murphy is your executive. So All-NBA first team to Shai, Luka Doncic, Jokic, John Morant, Kyrie Irving. Here's your All-NBA second team. I don't think our stats would be good enough for Barnes to make it, but I do think in the future he definitely can. So we are the 6th seed in the East. We made the playoffs, and funny enough, we get to play Detroit, the team we traded quickly to. So 18 points from Barnes, 18 from Ingram, and 16 from RJ Barrett. So as you can tell, there isn't like a clear-cut 25-point per game score, at least not yet. Maybe that becomes a thing in the future. But I think RJ Barrett will also be traded this offseason if I can find a good trade partner. I know he's also a Toronto native. I'm pretty sure he's from Toronto anyway. I could be wrong, but I think he is. But I do think for Grady Dick to excel like I want him to, I think RJ Barrett would have to be traded away because we're going to try to keep Ingram here. Although, funny enough, we could trade Ingram instead, but I guess we'll figure that out. So Detroit and Toronto in round 1, so we'll see how this goes. So I'm actually very excited about this. Let's go to 9-man rotation. Also, I want to see how Boogie Flan did for the season. He obviously didn't play like that many minutes, so I'm not expecting like a ton. But 7 points, 3 assists, and pretty good for the time that he has. So that's awesome. All right, so Detroit. Whoops, I didn't not mean to do that. So I do want to shrink this down to a 9-man rotation. Obviously, 11-man is just kind of crazy in the playoffs. So let's go 9-man rotation. This is going to kick out a couple guys, which like so Jamal Shed. Oh, I guess they're going to start Boogie Flan. Okay, I like it. So Boogie Flan's going to start for the playoffs. I don't mind it. This is kind of what I liked. You know, this is kind of what I have envisioned for our starting five in the future anyway, other than Boogie Flan being fully developed, and then maybe a different center than Jakob Poeltl because he's getting up there in age, but we'll see. So, I don't know. We also could keep RJ. We'll just figure that out as we go along. So, Toronto and Detroit in round 1. Let's see if we have what it takes to beat them, and we will have... And we beat them in 6. Okay, so we're just like that. We're on to round 2. Is Quickly come off the bench for the Detroit Pistons? I didn't even look at their team, funny enough. So, yeah, he's coming off the bench for them. But Cade Cunningham, Ivy Asar, Ron Holland, and Jalen Durns, who we beat. Now we're going to play the 7-seeder Brooklyn Nets team. Has Ty Jerome now. I mean, I feel like this is a team we should beat. But as y'all know, 2K loves the Brooklyn Nets. So, there's no ruling anything out here. Somebody cut around, and we're in the Eastern Conference Finals already. So, pretty wild stuff. But we're already in the Eastern Conference Finals, which is not something I ever anticipated happening this early. But here we are anyway. So, very interesting. I guess this is Masai Ujiri's vision, right? So, let's go to game 1. So, game 1, Cleveland wins 1-0. Game 2, 2-0. So, we may not have enough to take down the Cavs unless we even the series, which we do. Okay, well, Boogie Flan seems to be doing his thing because we've made it all the way to the conference finals. So, you know what? I'm not even going to bench him. I'm going to leave him in there. Our draft pick is paying off already. Can we take the 3-2 lead, though? We do, man. It would be pretty crazy we made it to the finals already. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But we're at home for game 6. So there is an advantage for us here if we win this one. Cleveland's going to have a nice little lead, though. So it looks like we will be going to a game 7. So game 7 is happening back in Cleveland. And let's see how it goes. So Simcast, you want to give more minutes? Or do I listen to the suggestions? Maybe I do for this. So Boogie Flan's still going to start, though. RJ Barrett's going to get in there, and Ingram goes to the bench. So very interesting. But if that's what they think should be best, then we'll rock with it. So can we come out here and win game 7 to get to the finals this early? I mean, even though the fact that we got this far is still impressive in itself, but I would love nothing more than to go to the finals, but we're not. So 113, 118, we fall short, but it's already a great sign of things to come if we're this good already. So Evan Mobley, Finals MVP. We lost to the team that went on to beat the Thunder in 7 and won a championship, and we pushed them to 7. That was a pretty crazy playoff run. I would love to see it happen again. Tobias Harris is going to retire, and we traded him for his expiring contract to get off Quickly salary. I think Quickly got a little too much money anyway. So Thunder via Utah. Magic have number 1 overall, which is crazy. And then, so yeah, I need to fix the Thunder and the Knicks pick. Other than that, do we have a draft pick this offseason? I don't know that, to be honest, for a fact. Toronto Raptors. We will be picking at number 19. So we do have a pick. Okay, so 19th overall selection. I'm going to fix those draft picks, and we might look into some trades while I'm fixing those. Maybe we make an early trade, but I might wait till after the draft for that. So with the 19th overall pick, I think we're going to take Darion Reed. I'm pretty sure I got him in yesterday's video, but never really got him involved in the rotation. So maybe this video we will. We'll let the assistant take care of the second round picks. AJ DeBanza to Orlando is very interesting. We got McLeod and Rob Newman's welcome. Player options. Jakob declines his player options. So honestly, I'm not opposed to just letting him walk, and maybe we trade for a different center this offseason. But we will accept the rest of these for sure. But yeah, I'm actually okay with Jakob potentially walking, because I think we could do better at the center position, because I think he's going to regress anyway. Although I will say he's not that expensive, so that might be something we have to keep in mind. I mean, as a backup 5, he could be appealing too. So Abaji's a free agent as well, but do we need him? Let's see. So Boogie Flange, Jamal Shed, I'm definitely settled with them being our point guard rotation. Great Dick, Jacoby Walter, so cool with that as well. And then this is kind of what I need to figure out with Ingram and RJ Barrett. I think one of them has to go, just don't know which one. And clearly the position we need to trade for is a center spot. So that is what we'll be looking to do clearly. So that is what we turn our attention to. But I will say maybe a lot of the appealing centers are in free agency. I mean, do we have money for like a Jalen Duren? No, we don't. We don't have money like that. So I guess we'll be looking in other ways for a center. I want to see if we can get a center I don't often trade for, but we'll see if that exists, because obviously centers are something I often get, I feel like. I told you guys I wanted it to be a center I don't often trade for, and I'm staring directly in the face of Kristaps Porzingis. This goes against everything I said about wanting a younger center. Porzingis still 30, so I think what we would do here is we'd sign or trade for Porzingis, hopefully, if it works out that way, and then we still re-sign Jakob Poeltl, and then you have that center rotation, and we'd be really looking good for a championship next year. I think Porzingis would be an amazing addition if we can pull this off. So Ingram or RJ Barrett obviously has to be in the trade. So we will probably throw RJ Barrett in here instead, unfortunately. And then we'll throw, let's say we do Battle. And let's say we do, I mean, we have a couple of second rounders. We just took Reed as well. I said I was going to try to get him involved, but I guess I'm not. So we have this Pistons pick. That might be appealing to them. I don't know if it will be. So let's just try this package. Let's see. Oh, wow. That was a lot easier than I thought it would be. So just like that, we get Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis, like I said, not a center I often trade for, but it sounded fun. So now we kind of have my vision setting stone, or I guess it's all coming in place. So Shed and Boogie Flan, Gray Dick, Jacoby Walter, and then we'll resign Abaji, and we'll resign Jakob Poeltl, and then we have our rotation. So I'm excited. So let's go. Jakob Poeltl, we're going to give him a 2-year deal to be our backup 5 for the next couple of years, and Abaji will remain our backup small forward as well. So this should look good in theory. Hopefully that's the plan anyway. And maybe we can go win a championship next year. We just made it to the conference finals, almost one game away from the finals. And I'm very curious to see how much Boogie Flan develops, because that's going to determine a lot here. So he's up to an 82 already, which is why we drafted him in the first place. He developed so nicely. Let's look at, I don't even remember where Edgecombe got drafted, but I know we made a mistake by not drafting him. He's usually really good. I don't even know where he's at, though, to be honest. I could go player. There he is. I found him very quickly. So he's actually the same overall as Boogie Flan right now. So maybe we didn't make the biggest mistake. I don't know. But I'm very happy with Boogie Flan as our point guard. So Grady Dick, Jamal Shed, Boogie Flan, and then Abaji and Brandon Ingram, Barnes and Mogbo, and Porzingis and Jakob Poeltl. I will tell you, I feel like the next time I do a Raptors rebuild, whenever that is down the line, obviously won't be anytime soon, I do want to try the Barnes at point guard experiment. I'm kind of regretting that I didn't try that today, but we took Boogie Flan, and I'm fine with that. But in the future, that's another video we got to do 100%, because I've heard people bring up that idea, and that does sound pretty interesting. I won't lie. So let's go look at this rotation, though. This could be the championship season. We were one game away from one game away from the finals last year. Our balance proficiency is only 3.5, though. A little disappointing by that, but all good. So it's Boogie Flan, Grady Dick, Ingram, Barnes, Porzingis, Jakob Poeltl, Jacoby Walter, Mogbo, and Jamal Shed. So all looks good. Abaji's not getting minutes right now, but we could change that to a 10 rotation. And then let's look at shot tendency. So Barnes, I want to be the stud this year that he can be. Porzingis' shot tendency is actually appropriate, which I like, and Ingram's is pretty good too. Grady Dick can maybe go up just a tad bit, and then everything else I think looks very solid. So I will see you guys at the end of year 3 at this point, and we'll see if this could be a championship season. I mean, we were pretty mid last year for the regular season, got the 6th seed and made it to the conference finals. So we'll see if this year that could be the case as well, which would be pretty amazing. The Luka Doncic wins MVP. AJ DeBanza is Rookie of the Year. By the way, let's not ignore that Luka Doncic is in a Bulls uniform now. Rookie of the Year goes to AJ DeBanza, Jaden Ivey, 6th man, and then Wemby Defensive Player. Trey Johnson, most improved in Brooklyn, who's up to an 83 overall. So Brooklyn could be scary very soon as well. De'Aaron Fox is in LA now, clutch player of the year. So that's nice. But all right, I'll be first team. Anyway, we get Barnes on here. I have no idea what his stats were this season. And we ended up being a play-in team. So pretty much a similar range to what we were last year. So not great, but Barnes did average 20, I guess. And then 17 from Ingram, 13 from Porzingis, 13 and 7 from Boogie Flan, 13 from Grady Dick, 12 from Walter, and 8 from Jakob Poeltl. So we get the Knicks in the play-in, so we'll see if we can't beat them to get into the playoffs. Because if we get in there, I feel like we could maybe make some noise, and we lose. Okay, so we got to play Chicago. It would have been nice to play Brooklyn, but we get to play Boston, who we obviously made a trade with as well, with RJ Barrett and Porzingis. So it's kind of ironic where we traded quickly to Detroit, which played them. Now we get to play the Celtics, and we will win, I think. And we are going to the playoffs. Okay, well, we draw the Bulls, who have Luka Doncic, so this could go either way if I had to guess. But I feel like this team is beatable, if that makes sense. But Luka, of course, is an animal in 2K, as we're all aware, and in real life. Let's not, take that away from him too. But I'm going to go to a 9-man rotation, and we're going to kick out, I guess, a Baja rotation, unfortunately. And we'll see if we can't upset the Bulls here. So game 1 goes to them. Game 2, we even it up. Can we win at home again? Nope. Can we even the series? Yes. Okay, so we got a very competitive series so far. Let's go to game 5 on the road with Simcast and see if we can't steal this one on the road and go home with an advantage. We're close. Nope, we're not going to get there. So 33 from Barnes. Everyone else is just, how the hell does that even happen? So everyone else just scored 9. What a disastrous performance by the support around Barnes. But all right, all we got to do is force a game 7 and then it's anybody's ball game, right? So can we do that? Or are we going home here early on? So we got ourselves a barn burner and we're going to lose. Okay. So we went from the conference finals to losing in round 1. That's disappointing to say the least. Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland. Let's go see who goes on to win it all. So Brooklyn, Detroit, it's Mavericks, Pistons, and the Mavericks go on to win a championship. Kyrie Irving's your finals MVP. All right. Well, not the season we were hoping for. I will not lie to you, but there is a silver lining. There should be guys progressing this offseason. So that's what we have at least. The Bulls have Portland's pick, which they're not supposed to. If they didn't have Luka Doncic, I'd probably ignore it. But you know what? I'm not allowing it to happen. So I'm going to fix that pick. I don't even know if we have a draft pick this offseason. I'm not going to lie. We do. So the 20th overall pick. So kind of very similar to last year. We got to hope that next year things go better. I mean, Boogie Flan should develop even further. So that should help out a little bit. But yeah, very disappointing to get bounced around 1 after making it to the conference finals, obviously. But let me go fix that Blazers pick, and I will get back to you. So the 20th overall pick, we're going to select Jalen Montgomery out of high school. So welcome to Toronto. I assume he hasn't probably picked a college in real life, if that's the case. I don't know. But we're going to let our assistant GM, like usual, take care of the second rounder. Alan Bernard, welcome. 71 overall, Montgomery. We obviously traded our first round pick last year. Ingram is a free agent, and I do have plans to bring him back along with everyone here as well. So this team is going to get expensive, but this is the core we have set ourselves with. So Ingram, what kind of offers does he have? He has, okay, so he has a few offers, but he's 29 years old. So yeah, I think a 5-year deal is not horrible there. Jamal Shed, going to get a big contract as well. Mogbo and Grady Dick, obviously. Well, he's restricted, so we can wait on that a little bit, but he's going to get a big deal as well. So yeah, Ingram, and yeah, it's an expensive team. This is the core we got. I mean, we're probably over the second apron now, if I had to guess. So no big trades are coming anymore by attaching salaries together. But this is the core we are set with, and we're going to hope that this year goes better. We also have to hope that Boogie Flan develops even more. So, and that is the case. Look at that, 89 overall. That's actually insane. In 2 years, he's up to an 89 overall. How about VJ Edgecombe? Let's see. Did we make the right decision? He is up to a 84. So it might be because he hasn't, started, I guess. And he didn't even play his rookie season. So yeah, maybe that's why he's not developing enough. But our boy here, Boogie Flan, is developing. I knew there was a vision, and it's working out. So this season, I feel like could be the year it all comes together. We got bounced last year in round 1. Hopefully this year things will be a lot better. If there is a trade to be made, it will be at the deadline, because I want to give this team another chance with Boogie Flan fully developed and see what that turns into. But I'm very excited for this season, and I do think that this could be a championship season if all goes well. So Victor Wembanyama wins MVP. We got Elijah Arenas winning Rookie of the Year for the Blazers. Igor is your 6th man. Wembanyama Offensive Player. JT Top Most Improved, and Jokic Clutch Player. Chris Finch Coach of the Year, and Nathan Mack is your Executive. So Wemby, Jokic, Tatum, Luka, and LaMelo represents your All-NBA first team. Here is your All-NBA second team. and only be a third team. So I was kind of hoping to see like Barnes on here, but I just assumed the stats are too spread for that to be the case. But I will say it was a good season. We are the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference, so that could lead to good things in this playoff run. So Boogie Flan is actually our leading scorer this year with 19 and 9, so he's been awesome. 19 from Barnes, 19 from Brandon Ingram, 17 from Grady Dick. So kind of our big 4 making it happen. Now all that matters is bringing home that title. So we get to play Washington in round 1, who has Jordan Poole, a fully developed Ace Bailey, Caleb Wilson also, not bad, and they've added Jaden Ivey. Alex Sarr is still here, Kaishan George. So pretty appealing team for the Wizards, but, you know, we're the 2nd seed for a reason, so losing round 1 would be disaster. So somebody come around against Washington, and we will beat them in 5. So off to a good start, but now we get to play the Magic, who have, I assume, Franz, Paulo, and then AJ DeBanza, and then maybe Suggs. So a point guard, so Suggs, Drake Powell. Okay, so AJ's come off the bench, which is kind of interesting, but I guess that makes sense because Franz is at the small forward. I mean, in theory, you could, like, run a big lineup. You could throw AJ DeBanza like point guard or something, I guess. I don't know, but this is how they're rocking with it. We'll see if we can't take them out. I think with AJ coming off the bench, that gives us a little bit of hope. We'll see, though. Game 1 goes to us. Good start. Game 2, up 2-0. So far, so good. And are we going to sweep the Magic? And just like that, we're back in the conference finals. No sweat there. Washington gave us a game, but Orlando could not take one from us. And now we get to play the Bulls, who gave us problems last year in 7, obviously. So now we got the Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves on the other side. We got to see if we can't take down Luka Doncic and VJ Edgecombe. Edgecombe remembers that I passed on him in the draft, but I liked what we, like what we got. So game 1 goes to us. Good start. Game 2 goes to us. So far, so good. 3-0, and we're going to sweep the Bulls too. Wow. So after going to 7 with them last year, and now we get to play Luka's team that might sweep the Mavericks. Oh, no. Sweep the Timberwolves. They beat them in 5. So gentlemen sweep, and Jaden Hardy is your conference finals MVP. So that's interesting. Is he starting next to Kyrie or something? No, he's coming off the bench. Shout out to Jaden Hardy, dude. Averaging that off the bench. That's wild. So did he not win 6th man of the year? Because that's pretty... He averaged 19 off the bench. That's pretty crazy. But all right. We get to play Dallas to try to wrap this video up with a championship if possible. I love what we're able to put together. Does it lead? And by the way, we've only dropped 1 game so far. So Raptors Mavericks, game 1 goes to us. Good start so far. 2-0. Are we really about to do this? We dropped 1 game that entire playoff run. 1 game, that was it. Boogie Flan is your finals MVP, 19 and 11. That worked extremely well. What a rotation we threw together. What a team we had thrown together, and it seemed like it fit perfectly, and this guy ended up being an absolute steal at pick 4. So that is a great way to end this one, in my opinion. I can't believe we only dropped 1 game that entire playoff run, but thank y'all for watching. I will see y'all in the next one. It's a great way to end off February and the week. I actually might drop this on Saturday, which is, I think is March 1st, but maybe I drop this on Friday. I'm recording this on Thursday, by the way, but thank y'all for watching. This is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.